Legion is an era we all love and hate. For me, when Legion came out in the TCG, this was when I ended up taking a break from Vanguard. This wasn't really my choice entirely. It was more of the fact that my access to the game was getting harder and harder. My local game store doesn't really carry Vanguard. Never really has. My only way of playing Vanguard was just sitting in my room, playing by myself at my desk, this exact desk actually, with Vanguard playing in the background. I was still in high school at the time, so money wasn't something I had an abundance of. This means my only way of collecting was mainly through purchasing trial decks. During Legion, we never got trial decks in English. Well, we did, 7 months later. We never got the Brawler deck. The contents of that were put into our booster box. The anime was in this little awkward state at the time too. I did enjoy that like Kai was kind of like the main hero now. Up till now, it kind of felt like as they were shifting away from the manga, they were just kind of throwing darts at a board and whatever stick they went with. But then one day some guy comes in with a chicken, just yucks it at the board, its beak gets stuck in, and they just kind of go with it. However, I am a fan of the Legion mechanic. If you don't know what Legion is, it's an ability that allows your Vanguard to team up with a mate to make a bigger Vanguard. The condition to do this is turn dependent. If you went first, you have to do this on your 4th turn. If you went second, you can do this on your 3rd turn. It's basically saying that both players should have access to grade 3 before anyone is going to be doing a Legion. You then shuffle 4 units that are in your drop back into your deck, search your deck for that Legion mate, and then they become 1 unit. Well, that's not true. They're 2 separate units that share 1 circle. So if a card like that one Brawler says if you have more units than your opponent, it is counting the Vanguard circle as 2 units. I think that this adds a really interesting tempo to a game now. It makes rushing a lot harder in Vanguard, and the recycling of triggers or even PGs can make for a longer game. It is something to note though that some players believe that this is a watering down of gameplay, since stuff like damage denying is now a weaker strategy. I do think these are valid points that people are making. I just think now there is a different form of playing. In my opinion, we haven't downstepped, but we also haven't like progressed. We just kind of sidestepped, if that makes sense. Now within Zero itself, the biggest difference now being that grade 3s are triggers. That means that the units that we are shuffling back are the units that we want to ride. This allows for rewriting to be more accessible with more powerful units. This also means since we are rewriting, we will have a larger soul. So units such as the 5Ks, that Soul Blast 2 and draw a card, are now easier to pull off multiple times in a game, which that soul blasting is important for later on. Since Zero doesn't really have guarding besides PGs, we don't really get to dump our hand into our drop early like we could in the TCG. We have to do this with our grade 2 interceptors. This adds a layer of decision making for players where you have to decide if you want to place a unit now just to maybe fill up your drop for later. So if we look at the 2 decks I'm playing the most right now, I'm playing Risers and Narukami. Risers, obviously, I've been playing a lot more because I love Risers. If you've been keeping up with me on this channel for a while, you know that Risers were really important to me during the 2nd wave of Nova Grappler support. So now that Risers again is a competent deck, I'm very excited. It's also quite easy to pilot. I don't really want to talk about it in its own video because people like Different Fight and many others have already talked about them in depth. Same with Narukami. It's nothing new for me to talk about. I'm just a fan of big, strong dragons, especially these like dudes that punch shit. It's so fucking cool. I so badly wanted to play it, but we never got any. Okay, I'm sorry. If we look at the 2 deck lists next to each other, there are some things that are very common, not just between these 2, but almost all Legion decks moving forward. If we look at the grade 1s, we are playing a lot that allow us to cycle our hands, whether that is the booster that allows us to discard a draw, or the tappers that allow us to discard and draw. Both are playing the Soul Blast 2 draw 1 card This is very important obviously because it is a free way of getting units into our drop. Since Legion is an act ability, that means you can ride your grade 3, call out your Rising Phoenix or your Energy Boy, Soul Blast 2, draw your card, and now since you have more cards in the drop, now you can activate Legion. Now that I'm looking at it, I should probably amp up more Rising Phoenix because it also plays cards in the deck that's Soul Charge. Yeah, I'm just gonna bump that up. Something you've probably noticed if you're playing a lot of Legion right now is that everyone's running old PGs. This is a very easy choice since most Legion units do not really care about counterblasting, and we do not care about being at a high damage count now without limit break. It's also nice if it can activate earlier with that whole condition of being from 3 to 5, because now you can put PGs in your drop earlier, shuffle them back into your deck with your Legion, and get more use out of them. Obviously neither of these decks are perfect. Like I said, I don't really want to talk about them in depth. I haven't pulled any of the Skybeat Dragons, and I really don't like Transriser in the Riser's deck. I get like we're limited on choices, and he is a pseudo +1, but I hate whiffs. I hate whiffs so much. Also, I had to craft 2 Big Bang Knuckles, and that shit sucks because like you have to craft it, and then since you were never pulling the mate, you then have to craft the mate on top of that. And then it also sucks because both of the foils that I pulled for both of the clans are the ones that mate with just a rare. So when they are on the Vanguard circle, they don't get the cool SP look. They just get like this weird like rare kind of foiling, if you know what I mean, like the sheen instead of like an actual animation. Overall, I'm excited for Legion. I think more than the average player. That's mainly just because I'm a fan of Vanguards that care about old boss monsters, such as like a Mon Leader. I'm so excited for that guy to come out. Or like Zeal's buddy, I don't know his name, but I guess there's also like the Cross, but the Cross supports the Endo, and the Endo is still a competent deck. So I don't know when we're going to be getting that. I haven't been posting on here as often. That's just because I'm a little bit busy with triple rare right now. If you'd like to support me in any way, that's a great place to do it. I just did a really cool drop last week. I seem to be doing quite well from reception. Still got quite a few sleeves left, quite a few stickers if you're interested. I've been previewing the next drop on Twitter right now, so if you want to go check that out, I'd love to keep you involved with the brand. It's been a lot of fun. I'm gonna try to start making videos again more often just because I am enjoying Zero a lot, because I think a lot of people can agree the end of Limit Break was starting to get a little boring. If you have any kind of video ideas that you'd like me to talk about, I'd love to hear about it. You can either leave that in the comments down below or just DM me on Twitter personally. I will totally respond. Yeah, I still never know how to end these. That's all I got.